Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Friday's installment of Contracting Chatter. Yes, I know we had an amazing week. There were amazing things happening. Whew. Where's my Here it is. My notes for this morning's live. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you doing, everybody? You know what? I start off every live the same. I have a set pattern. I welcome you in. I tell you to grab your bestie, to get your favorite beverage and your contracting notebook. I tell you if you're driving to focus on the road, but to turn the volume up because I want you to hear what I have to say. I also tell you that if you miss part of it, you can catch the replays on my YouTube channel at LT&A Consulting Group. And it's a habit. It's a pattern. It's a set pace that I have for my life. Why? Because people like habits. People like to know, people like predictability. People like to know that there's a set routine. And whether or not you want to admit to it, even the so called rebels have routines. Where am I going with this? I'm going somewhere with it. Just walk with me a little bit. There are routines and there are patterns to everything we do. I don't know who this is that keeps trying to go live with me. I can't even read his name. There are routines and patterns in everything we do in life and in business. My question to you is, in business, have you documented those patterns and routines? As you come in, please say hello, good morning, how are you? You know how we were raised. We were raised to say good morning as we enter the room. In life, we can have undocumented routines unless we need somebody to fill in for us. Then they need to know the routines that we need them to cover. In business, those routines need to be documented. Somebody's trying to say, what do you mean? Let me explain it. Good morning, Marvin. A documented routine in business is called a procedure. A documented routine in business is called a procedure. We don't think of it as a procedure, but that's what it is. A procedure in business is a routine. It's a standard way of doing something. It's a standard way of how the company treats its client, its processes and routines. That's all a procedure is in business. It's a routine, a well-established order. I'm not even posing it as a question, I'm making it as a statement now. If you are in business, every step in your business need to be documented. Now, someone is going to say, it's just me. I don't need to document it. Yes, you do. You need to document your routine. Why? So that when a challenge occurs, you have documentation to say, this is how I do everything. If your documentation is in your head, it's easily challenged. How do you know that's your routine? Did you just make that up? It's hard to challenge something that is written but you can always challenge something that somebody says is in their head. Why should you document it? Do you always want to be a solopreneur? It's hard to bring somebody into your business to help you if all of your processes are in your head. Somebody can't teleport into your mind to see how you want things done, but they can pull up a piece of paper. You can email them your standards so they can read how you do this process and copy it. It's just that simple. As business founders, and I say it in my book, and I'm saying it differently in my second edition, we have visions, and visions are to help us create or establish the vision creates the outline for the business. But people think the vision is what drives the business. No. The vision doesn't drive the business. The vision is what the person sits down and dreamed it out. I envision. It is the policies and the procedures that drives the business, not the vision. And I believe when people keep saying it's the vision that drives the business, it's those visionaries that creates the business, but it's the policies and procedures that drives the business. Because if it was true that visions drive businesses, then we could just imagine it and that's it. And I know somebody's going to give me pushback on that. But if imagination was enough, if imagination was all we had to do, then imagination and bank accounts would be all full of money. We could imagine enough to have all the money we needed to pay our bills. Imagination is not enough. We need something to support the imagination. There has to be a framework to support the imagination. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense, type it in the chat. I need more. I need greater clarity. Because I want you to be clear. I want you to walk with me on this journey this morning. Because a lot of times founders, and I'm specifically talking as founders, and everybody else, I want you to tap into the conversation. Hey, Patty. I want you to tap into the conversation because I want you to understand how founders think and flow. So the next time you're on somebody's live and they want to talk about all this unnecessary nonsense. Thank you, Marvin. Everybody who founds a business or sitting in the seat of the CEO isn't greedy. They're sitting in the seat of the CEO talking about the longevity of the company so that they can maintain the business so that the employees can keep having a job to come to. The vision, it's the next vision that keeps everybody employed. It's the framework that brings the vision to life. And it's the procedures that keeps the framework running. Am I making sense? Does that make sense? I think we get so lofty with these terms and we get so idealistic that we never cement the terms, or we try to cement lofty ideas. And we're trying to put loft on cement without a foundation. I love to use tiny house analogies. You're going to, as you follow me, you're going to learn my different analogies, and you're going to, some people think I'm crazy. It's okay. I am a little crazy. You have to be, to some degree, you have to be a little bit unhinged to start a company, because that is the greatest risk you will ever take in your life. You are risking your finances, you're risking everything to say, I have a vision. Now I'm going to build a framework, and I'm independent with some policies. Now I need to get people to buy into this vision. Thank you, Marvin. People don't understand that. That's why your friends and your family, I said it the first part of the week, your friends and your family don't always understand that. And to go to tap into dating a little bit. And that's why I have a Mindsets Matters platform as well. Dating for entrepreneurs, dating for business owners, dating for the CEO suite is so different. Because you have to have somebody who either has a visionary mindset or who can support a visionary mindset. And it's different. Because if you are visionary and you are connected to somebody who doesn't have a visionary mindset, or who can carry a visionary mindset, a visionary's dream, you're not equally yoked. And that creates problems. That's why somebody who went from 9 to 5 to establishing a business, who gets divorced, but in their second marriage thrives, because they was married to a person who couldn't handle the vision, but then married a person who could. And then everybody talks about, well, when they grew up or glue up or glowed up or whatever the term is, they abandoned the first person. You have to switch their mindset. Could the first person carry the burden of the visionary? And there's nothing wrong with the first person. It's just that they couldn't handle the load of the visionary. My mentor talks about, and he was specifically talking to men, but this applies to women as well. You have to understand who you are and what you want in life before you call yourself wanting to date or marry. And he was talking to the men, but that applies to women. Can you stand? And I know somebody's going to say, what does this have to do with business and government contracting? It has everything. Because if your marriage life is jacked up, you're going to mess up your business. Point blank, period. See, this is the part of business that they don't tell you about. We don't talk about it enough. I'm having an event in November. It's a faith-based event. So if you're not a believer, it's not for you. Because we're going to talk about God and Jesus at this event. I have another event that is for you, but this one in November isn't. If your spirit life isn't right, your business is going to flummox, because you can't go into business meeting talking about hallelujah, praise everybody. But that doesn't mean you have to put down your faith to be in business. There are ways to balance everything. But if you are out of balance in your faith, in your relationships, then your business suffers. If you're out of balance in your business, your relationship suffers. And for those who say there's no such thing as balance, yeah, get away from them, because they are not in community. I talked about that the other day. Those who talk about there's no such thing as balance is because they're out of balance. They're out of community. I'm not telling you you have to abandon your day ones. However, as you grow, you have to get new people in your community that reflect the stage that you're in now. I'm going to let that one sit. Because who you are when you started your business and who you are when you take your business to your first 10,000 and who you are when you won your first contract, it's not the same. You're not. Because what it took is not the same. You're not the same leader. You're not the same decision maker. You're not the same. You're just not the same. You are not. I'm having an event July 8th through the 12th. I do this event every year called Contracting and Business Week. It is a complimentary event. I run it, I stream it to my YouTube channel and my private Facebook group. I usually bring in guests. This year, I know I'm doing 2 days myself, and I'm bringing in guests for the other 3 days. We discuss things like this, and the content is designed to enhance for those who are on target for the year and to reframe from those of you who are missing the target. And I deliberately set it for the half year mark because sometimes during the half year, you need that boost. You need that reframe. You're feeling discouraged, but you still have 6 months. There's no such thing as I haven't made my goal by July and I'm going to miss it for the year. I'm going to have to wait until January to start over. No. Matter of fact, it's May 17th. I don't care if your goal for the year was 10,000 and you've only made $50 for the year. You have the rest of the year to do it. I don't care if your goal was to win 5 contracts and you haven't won one. You still have the rest of the year. All you need to do is reframe. Reframe. Yes. If you're in a position in your business, somebody asked a question on another platform. Is it okay to inform your team that they are there for a specific time frame? I would say you should put it in your contract that your contract is for a 6-month contract, 1-year contract with the option to renew. That's what the government does. 1-year contracts with a 5-year add-on at 1-year increments. That's what the government does. So why can't you? I understand why people don't want to do it because they're afraid that the people will leave for better pastures. However, the way I view it, are people who stay regardless are the people you want around. Because the people who stay are buying into the vision. Those are the people who are like, you know what? I see something here and I'm going to stay in it for the long haul to see what's going on. Or they're the people who are saying, you know what? I know this is only good for 6 months or a year and I need the flexibility. And you may need the flexibility in your staffing. So you know there are people that you can say, I have this 6 months need. Are you available? You know that they're the people that you can call in. And if you're in government contracting, there's a way you can build your rates and your team to accommodate that, and you won't take a significant hit when you bid. So there are ways to do that and not burden yourself and have an hyper inflated rate, and you can and still be competitive. Actually, there's just a way to do that, period, but especially in government contracting. That's a great question. So, but I think we're so, and it is traditional. It's just that when we go into business, we think we're adopting the right methodologies and we fumble the balls because we're not in the right rooms and we're taking advice from the wrong people. I never forget, I spent, I didn't spend $1,400 for this ticket. I got the ticket for less than $1,400, but it was a $1,400 conference ticket. My friend at the time was like, "Girl, why are you wasting your money on that? Why are you wasting your money on a $1,400 conference ticket?" However, these are the same people who spent money on a Beyonce ticket. Now, we know how much Beyonce conference tickets cost. And they bought conference tickets in the front. So, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just making a comparison. At that conference, I met a woman, breakout speaker, awesome speaker. That was in, how old were my kids by that point? They was two. So it was in 2013. That person reached out to me in, when did I move to Charlotte? That woman reached out to me like 7 years after that to invite me to be a breakout speaker in her conference from that one meeting. So $1,400 led to an opportunity to be a breakout speaker at a conference that had 500 attendees of my ideal clients. That same woman, $1,400, that same woman, when I asked her, could I use her name on a bid that I was bidding on because I needed somebody else, I needed to leverage somebody else's influence, said that I could, $1,400. You have to flip your mindset. And that's also in your framework. Because in my policies and procedures, there's something about travel. And my policies and procedures back up the budget that I have for the year that includes conferences and trade shows. And I started including trade shows. Now, somebody's going to say, why do you have policies and procedures? And if you don't have a budget, that's a whole nother tirade I'm going to go on Monday. Why do I'm saying this? If I wasn't in that room, if I wasn't willing to spend that money, I never would have met her. I never would have gotten that opportunity, and I never would have been able to leverage her name. And somebody is saying, but none of this is stringing along. It's all stringing along because if the framework, I started this segment this morning. Good morning, Tony. I started this segment this morning talking about we all have habits. We all have procedures, and in business, our habits are called procedures, and our procedures underpin the framework of the vision that is our business. If they're all in your head, get them out your head and get them on paper. I don't care if your business is me, fi, me. Get them out your head. You protect your business by having everything in writing. Everything. You tell people how to treat you by treating your business right. That's how I started. Then I went into leveraging and reframing. Because some of us need to reframe. Some of you need to reframe. I talked about my contracting business week because in July is the midpoint of the year. Now, in government contracting, that's the beginning of the fourth quarter, low hanging fruit season. I'm going to talk about that. Because some of y'all don't know what low hanging fruit is talked about wrong. I talked about how if you're not making your goal, you can still make it. It is May 17th, and I don't care what this goal was January 1st, you can make it. You just need to reframe, reposition. I talked about understanding who you are and what your vision is, and all of your partnerings, what spiritual, mental, emotional, relational, have to support the vision. It all has to support. Is this tracking with everybody? Now I know somebody is saying this is a little heavy for a Friday morning. Honey, business is heavy every morning. But I want you to go into the weekend with a lifted burden. At 11 o'clock today, my new episode is dropping on my podcast on the 3 types of government contractors. I want you to check that out. And check out my podcast anyway. It's streaming on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon. Because a lot of people are apprehensive of government contracting because you don't know what type of government contractor to become. And some of you are going to listen to that podcast and say, I don't want to do either of them. I'd rather play a supporting role. And there's still a place for you to be a supporting role. Just be a supporting member. But you still need to be in the community. So I'm going to close the segment off this way. Contracting in Business Week always covers business because government contractors are businesses. And it ends up in government contracting because government contracting is a way to revitalize, scale, and stabilize your business. I talked about that in the masterclass. So I'm going to leave you with this thought to go into the weekend. I have a saying that a stressed mind can't create. I'm going to take it here. You always find your answer in the peace. Now I'm going to tie it all together. We have a tendency, or there is a tendency, to overcomplicate processes. That's why you need to write them down. Write the vision and make it plain so all that can follow. There's a reason why that was written, and there's a reason why that was said. When you write it down, nobody can overcomplicate it, and that includes you. You can't get worked up over something that's written. I don't know how it's written. I don't know where it's written. Somebody can't give an opinion over something that's written. Well, I think that it's written. You see where I'm going? It is written. Somebody told me that I was repetitive because people hear something once and it goes in one ear, not the other, if it ever goes in the ear in the first place. That's why I'm repetitive. In marketing, they said people don't even consider purchasing unless they've touched you 7 times. In learning, they say people don't even begin to grasp the concept until they've heard it 3 or 4 times. So why shouldn't I repeat something more than once if I want you to understand it? It is written. And with that, I want you to join me Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another edition of Contracting Chatter. If you missed this episode, don't worry. It's on my YouTube channel. You can watch it at your leisure and you can binge my other episodes. If you have questions, you can either DM me or you can submit an email. The email is in my description on all of my platforms. This is mainly for TikTok because this is where I'm getting the problem at, and I'm about to close my DMs on TikTok. When you submit a message, please be respectful. Some of these messages are just outlandish. When you're ready to take the next step, you can book a session at any time, and we can talk about how we can work together to make your vision a reality. We can come up with the framework. And if you decide not to move forward because my consultations are not free, you would at least walk out the consultation with the framework. And with that, I want to tell you, have an amazing weekend. Take time away from your business and enjoy yourself. Remember, your answer is in the piece. And I'll see you Monday morning.